Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the CineFiles Extended Cut, the show where we break down the biggest stories of the week, as well as some stories that didn't quite make the cut. So if you like this, be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks for more. I'm your host, Matt. We have Justin on the panel, Phoebe, and Liam.
Hello.
Guys, how are we doing today?
Pretty good.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear.
Feeling good. Sunny outside.
It's hot
It
in here.
is.
That's all I need.
Summertime.
Yeah.
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 So we're going to start the show off like we always do. We're going to talk about what we've been watching at home or on the big screen. So let's throw it to the man to my left, Justin.
That's me.
You have to tell us, my friend, what have you been watching?
A few weeks ago, I was talking about how I was in a bit of a Josh Brolin bender, and I watched Hail Caesar this week.
Oh.
It was the second time I've seen it. Last time I saw it was when it was in theaters, in the motion picture house. Good movie.
Did you take a look at Alden
Ehrenreich?
I was just about to say,
so
don't you like that
performance
movie?
in that movie?
He's so
He's
funny
amazing.
in that movie.
He's perfect.
Like,
I haven't seen it.
His whole shtick, and like, I'm not sure. I didn't look into it about the stunts that he had to do with all the like flipping
Horses and stuff like that, yeah.
horses and doing the lasso.
Yeah.
Like, do you know if that was him?
I have no idea.
Because that stuff is
he's so funny in that
crazy.
movie.
Yeah. Just like on a technical level, all those stunts and like big set pieces that they do in that movie are just so fun.
I know I've hyped up Alden Ehrenreich's performance so much in that movie, but I do not like that movie.
You don't like that movie?
No.
I love that movie.
Interesting.
Jeez.
Phoebe,
Man.
how do you feel about it? You hate the guy.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, you should
What?
watch it.
Oh.
You should check it
I've
out.
seen it.
Dread
It
Drop.
looks
Just
good.
watch Channing Tatum's dance number in the middle, and it's like that's the best part of the movie.
Watch the scene.
And Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden Ehrenreich. I can never say his name. And Ray
Ralph
Fiennes.
Oh, I like him.
That scene is so funny. And the best is when you get the payoff at the end.
Yeah.
That they changed the line because he couldn't say it.
I wish they hadn't spoiled that in the trailer.
Well, they
That was
spoiled
the
the
trailer.
first scene, yeah, but
Yeah.
the payoff was it still worked.
They do it
That
later
was
on?
Also, like, my favorite part of the trailer was just, what was it?
Would that it was
That was the whole trailer.
Yeah.
I remember being so excited when I saw it because I
Yeah.
thought it was so funny.
And
but
then later
I don't
on,
know.
Josh Brolin is watching like the dailies of it, and he sees like
Yeah.
he sits down and he goes, "It's complicated."
Yeah.
like he changed the line because he couldn't
Yeah.
say it. It's a super funny movie.
Was this
Big
the
recommend.
the second time you've watched it?
Second time I've seen it.
Still,
I think
you
it's
enjoyed
one
it
of,
as much? Or?
I think it's one of the Coen Brothers' best movies, actually.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think
appreciate
there are
the
really
heat
great
of that
moments in
take.
that movie. I think as a whole it doesn't work. I think the story.
I think you
is
should
kinda,
revisit
like,
it.
Boring.
It's
if
a
you've
very-
only seen it once, then I could see that's kind of how I walked away feeling too. But knowing where it ends up and watching the movie with like clear eyes, I highly recommend if you've only seen it once
Maybe
to
I'll
check it
revisit
out again.
It's on Netflix, eh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Phoebe, we can probably guess that you didn't watch an Ehrenreich movie because you hate the guy so much.
Okay, that's...
So what did you watch? Box Trolls, perhaps?
Yeah, I watched Box Trolls again. No, I went to go see Ocean's 8. Which I know our audience is so excited about.
Yeah.
I know that they can't wait to see an all-female Ocean's movie.
Oh.
It's like right up their alley.
Pow, pow. Pow.
I loved it. I thought it was an amazing movie. I know that it's like getting a lukewarm reception, which is fair. I revisited Ocean's 11 also.
We
to
talked
sort
about
of-
that a few weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Or last week.
Yeah, exactly. We did talk about that. I totally forgot. I revisited that, and then I went to go see Ocean's 8. And obviously, when an all-female film enters this franchise, you know, there's controversy, like when it happened with Ghostbusters. And I think that a lot of people, you know, were saying like, oh, you know, women can support their own franchise. They don't need to attach themselves to a franchise for the brand recognition, especially
Popular
with a
IPs.
cast that has like, you know, Kate Blanchett and we have Sandra Bullock, we have Rihanna. Like it's an iconic cast. And I think that that's where it fell short because it sort of invites comparisons to the George Clooney, Brad Pitt Ocean's 11, which is a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
It's like sort of like a classic film. And overall, it's a really, really fun, action-packed heist film. The costume design is incredible. Like, I don't know if you guys really care about that, but like the dresses, because the setting is the Met, Met Gala, right?
I care about it. I saw Phantom Thread. I care about dresses.
There you go. Yeah.
Good point.
Anyway, so the costume design is amazing. I think the performances are really good. It's definitely worth a watch.
I'm really excited to see it. I think the cast is like one of the best
Yeah.
casts in a movie I've ever
absolutely.
seen. In my
And
life.
like it was such a good feeling being in the theater with like, it was mostly women who went to go see this movie. I think that's more the target audience. And everybody was like laughing and screaming, you know, it was like so much fun. Every time Rihanna came on screen, like people were like, Queen, like going crazy. And it was just like a really fun environment to go see a movie in. And I think like that also happened when I went to go see Wonder Woman, you know, it's just sort of like this empowering film. And like I said, it definitely could have stood on its own as a standalone film as opposed to entering this franchise, but it was so much fun and I loved it. I loved it. Yeah.
Do they mention a lot of the relationship between Sandra Bullock's character and because she's supposed to be his sister?
Yeah, she's
correct?
his sister.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sort of starts out. It's what's really cool about the movie is that it has like a lot of this. It's very similar in style, I would say. Like the first scene of the movie is almost the exact same as the scene in Ocean's 11,
Oh, that's a
which
nice
was
little
really
hat
cool.
tip,
Yeah, and we also have like a few of the characters from Ocean's 11 make like little cameos, which was fun. They were very small, so they definitely like didn't steal the scene or anything like
Right.
that. But it was very like fun little ones. Like Ruben made an appearance.
That's cool.
I,
It wouldn't make
I
sense
made-
for them to steal.
Yeah, no, because
steal
no.
a show, you know. So.
I read a headline today that said that I don't know if it probably isn't spoilers, but Matt Damon shot a cameo, but they cut it.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I'm
You don't like Matt
really
Damon?
not a Matt Damon fan. So
That's
I'm,
probably good
I'm
that they
happy.
cut it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm happy that they cut it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really a fun film. It's really a fun film, and everybody who's hating on it because it's all women, like, oh, shut up, I don't care. Like, whatever.
Yeah, there are definitely going to be people who definitely do that. When I saw the trailer, I was super excited. So I'm definitely going to check it out eventually.
I should have saw that last night. I'm really excited to see Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
'Cause I love the first one,
Yeah.
Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about 12.
No,
Or
No.
12 sucks.
13. There is a 13.
I haven't seen 13,
right?
but 12 is not good.
No.
Oh, and
It's
just
not.
so everybody knows, if you want a more in-depth review, I'm actually shooting a review this afternoon with my good friend Emily for Ms. Mojo.
Oh, a little
So
plug.
check it out
Little
Nice.
plug.
If you care.
I will check that out.
Published date is that
This
today?
afternoon.
Oh, it's the published date.
Debut.
Perfect. So it's
Premiere.
coming out. Liam, what about you?
I took the week to revisit a beloved classic. One of my
did you?
favorite films of all time. Yes.
Box trolls?
No, you wish.
enough.
E.T. Extraterrestrial.
Oh.
Because we were talking about how there's a trailer that dropped this week that had
Yes.
very much vibes to this era of cinema,
Yeah,
I guess. And
yeah.
I cry every time of this movie. It's sad, it's happy,
It's a beautiful movie.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Elliot, the kid who plays Elliot, what's his name? Can't remember the actor's name.
Yeah, I'm blanking on it too. We're
Something
coming
Thomas-
off real
Thomas
bad
something.
here, but that
Elliot.
guy,
Something Thomas.
you know.
Yeah, he's
Jonathan
one
Taylor.
of, no,
Thomas.
he's like he pulls in like one of the probably the best like child performance of all time.
I actually watched his audition. It's
crazy,
in,
eh?
one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
WatchMojo like top 10 like audition tapes or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like he's so emotional and
Yeah.
like it's so impactful just his audition. you
Yeah.
know?
It is a fantastic movie.
Great
And
movie.
That
Classic.
the scene when E.T.'s lost and they're trying to find him, and then he's floating in the river, the stream.
Yeah,
Gutted me as a kid. Oh my
best
god,
is,
that was so sad.
gonna cry
He's
now.
gray. He's not like he's discolored. He's clearly sick. The poor thing.
probably like
Oh my God.
my favorite Spielberg movie.
It's too
For
bad.
sure. So good.
It's too bad E.T. couldn't find work after that.
Yeah,
like
I
that's
know,
the only
right?
movie he was
Yeah.
ever in.
He was like an
Yeah.
icon.
Well,
Yeah.
he did
The
the,
face
one
of
film.
Reese's
And he's
Pieces.
like, I did it.
Yeah.
I was happy.
Well, he
I'm
went
going
home, right? Yeah,
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, he
That's
did
true.
go home.
See,
I'm
guys,
sure he
I'm
was
done.
on plenty
Yeah.
of movies back on his home planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this huge star over
Yeah.
in
He's
whatever.
the Brad Pitt of his planet.
My favorite scene is when E.T. gets drunk and then Elliot's drunk at school.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
And he's
Yeah.
like walking around with a flannel like a total
yeah. Yeah.
loser.
I really like the
So
scene where
funny.
he's wearing like a blonde wig.
Oh,
I have
that-
repurposed that for many a funny edit.
yeah, oh yeah. Right.
Oh, so
I
you probably
love that
loved
scene.
the little tip of the cap in Stranger Things
right.
when
Oh,
season
yes.
11,
Right?
season
Yeah.
1, 11 had the little makeover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Such an icon of pop culture.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And it's
Amazing.
been, imitated so many times because
yeah.
it's so iconic.
The score
Such a good score.
when
Classic.
they fly out into the moon,
Yeah.
beautiful.
And there's that also a small scene, but when they're hiding ET from like the parent or the mom,
Yeah. And
and she's in the toys, and his face is just smiling in the middle of all those other stuffed animals. That's hilarious. So
I have
good.
a little ET mug. I'm gonna bring it next week.
Can I have
Oh,
it?
there you go.
gonna-
Can you have it?
No, you
Can he?
cannot have it.
Oh, damn.
Oh, there you have
Who's
it.
a bigger fan?
I guess Phoebe, if she doesn't
You
want
guys
to give
can
up
work
the
it out.
mug,
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, or at least equal. I kind of did the same thing. I watched this mysterious trailer that we're going to talk about later, and thought that it had a lot of Super 8 vibes. So I watched Super 8, which is a great film and obviously has a lot to thank E.T. for.
One of the great underrated movies of the 2010s.
Yes, I would say so.
Nobody talks about that movie anymore.
No, but it's
so good.
It's so good. So much
Stranger
heart.
Things before Stranger Things.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Exactly. Yeah,
And I think it does what Stranger Things does, but better.
that's interesting because when I first watched Stranger Things, I was like, oh my god, this is Super 8. This is exactly Super 8 almost.
Yeah.
But I didn't really draw the conclusion that I was like, oh, maybe they did it better. It was almost like on par. I love Stranger Things too.
Me too.
But yeah, Super 8, so good.
It's super great.
Talk about
There's your
yeah,
headline.
nice.
There you have
The, speaking of scenes that made us cry, the scene with the locket where he's like holding on to it, his mom's locket.
That gets
it's
me
terrifying.
every single time. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
so sad. Some people might say it's cheesy. It's like floating. Oh,
But the
perfect.
score too in that is like Michael
Yeah.
Giacchino is.
Yeah.
It feels like
amazing.
Super 8 was like people kept telling J.J. Abrams that like he was the next generation's Steven Spielberg, and he was
And
like,
Steven Spielberg.
"Yeah,
approached
I
him.
guess I
Yeah.
should do a Steven Spielberg movie then."
And it was only reinforced because Steven Spielberg produced Super 8
right.
as well. So it's like, oh, it's almost like, is he passing the torch kind of thing? I don't know if he was exactly doing that, but I think that's kind of fair to say JJ is at least on the same trajectory
An
as...
homage to his mentor because they've been
Yeah.
Buddying.
like friendly since he was a kid or something. I think
Maybe.
like J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
So old.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams like reached out, won a competition or something, and he's been on Steven Spielberg's radar since he was a young kid. I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
There you go. So
there
he
you
was
go.
grooming him, yeah.
yeah, groomed to stardom.
And it's not the first movie I watched where there was like a tremendous kid ensemble, but the ensemble in this one is tremendous. And
amazing.
Elle Fanning is like one of the biggest
Kind of bummed
actresses
that none
in
of
the
them have
business right
done
now.
anything else
Sorry?
since. None of them have really done anything else
Yeah,
since
it's
other than Elle
true.
Fanning.
And they're all really good. Although can't think of his name right now, but the kid with the braces in the movie who liked exploding.
Oh, yeah,
things,
he's in a few things, eh?
He was in the most recent Goosebumps.
Yeah.
He
funny.
plays a
And,
type,
the
silly.
He's also in
comedic
This Is
dude.
40.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
got
I
a
know
funny
who you're
scene.
talking
Well, there was
about.
also the kid that's in F the Prom.
Yeah. Joel Courtney,
Oh yeah,
the main kid.
He's
Yeah.
probably the second most successful after Elle Fanning, but even then, he
I wouldn't say
hasn't
second
really
most successful. He's
broken
doing like
out.
straight
Yeah.
to DVD movies now.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a
But
bit
you
too mean,
kind of
but-
hear his name a bit more.
Kyle Chandler should be in more too.
Yeah,
That guy's
so good,
underrated.
man.
but he's doing a lot. Yeah,
Coach Taylor?
He's doing well.
So good.
Yeah. So I guess we'll wrap up what you're watching. Good picks, guys. Good picks.
Thank you.
Can't
Solid.
wait to see what you're watching next week. So let's wrap that up. And coming up next are the 3 biggest stories of the week. So you're not going to want to miss that. That's coming up next. Hello, everyone, and we're back. So we're going to start things off with another superhero story.
What?
Yes.
We never talk about that.
Shocking. But I think we're going to have fun with this one. Phoebe, you're gonna have fun blasting this one, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe you're going to really enjoy it. Who knows? But it's... what do you... Liam, you're
I
saying?
know. I don't know what it's.
Oh, you're trying to read the...
I'm trying to read what it is. I
Here,
don't know
it's,
what it is.
Jared Leto to get his own Joker movie.
Wah, wah, wah.
Was this not already in the works?
This was not already in the works, but you are forgiven for thinking so, because Todd Phillips is actually currently, I don't know if he's actually in the middle of production, but they're planning another Joker movie that's separate from this whole Suicide Squad universe, and Joaquin Phoenix is rumored to have already signed on.
I think I knew that.
Yes.
But-
So that was already in the works. And yeah, Warner Bros. And DC are coming out with another one focused on Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad. They want to build on the Suicide Squad world and hopefully use this as a springboard to create even more Suicide Squad world films. So, simple question. What do we think of this?
I have a lot.
I think we're going to have some hot shots on this, some hot takes, if you will. So, anyone want to take
I
the
think
floor
we're
to
all
start
pretty
things off?
Dumbfounded that this is a
Justin,
thing.
what do you,
Justin
what do you
is,
think about this?
Yeah, you're the comic book guy.
This is so stupid. This is such a bad idea. Like you'd think Warner Brothers would, listen to what people are
Yeah.
saying about their movies. Hey guys, like look at Marvel. They're taking their comic book stories and they're adapting them into movies that are fun. And okay, just a quick little dive into the comic book world. 2011, DC Comics rebooted their comics. They were like, we're starting from scratch so that we can introduce new readers. And the angle was, these are stories for adults. They're kind of grown up. They're darker superheroes. Our superheroes don't smile. They're not married. They're They're tough. They're angry. It's in 2016. They were like, yeah, sorry about that, guys. We're going back to normal because no one liked that. So now,
They took them 5 years.
it took them 5 years, and they were like, you know what, guys, sorry, our bad. Here's the superheroes you like. They actually enjoy being superheroes.
Most things, yeah.
They smile. They have families, people they care about. They're not all just brooding assholes.
So then, how does this
People,
tie
like,
in?
relatable?
This ties in because they learned that lesson in the comics, and it seems like they still haven't learned that lesson on the big screen. Like, instead of being like, hey, people don't like that dark tone, how about we go in another direction? They're like, got it. Listen, I hear what you're saying. How about 2 Joker movies?
No,
No,
we need
I
to,
don't-
no, but hear me out.
Hear me out. But Joker, he's funny. He's
Yeah,
like,
he
he's
smiles,
laughs.
he laughs.
Yeah.
He's insane.
And people love the Suicide
People
Squad.
love insane. Yeah.
Who loves the Suicide Squad?
Nobody
I
does.
was saying earlier that Suicide
although
Squad
I-
is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how anybody can defend that movie.
I 100% agree. It's just like David Ayer wanted to throw in like. I was about to drop the F-bomb. I'll leave that to Justin. That's
my job.
But
Our
he
resident
literally
F-bomb
has
dropper.
like 6 not ideas, but like 6 visions for how this thing's gonna go, and he just couldn't decide. The whole title sequences introducing the Suicide Squad,
my God.
like it was like a sporting event, ding ding, and then like stats come up and
Yeah.
stuff, and I was like,
It's
this
not a
is
movie. It's like a
this is absolutely pathetic. This
music
is-
video.
It's brutal.
Like-
and the music used. Oh my god.
They were like, let's just throw like 100 songs in this movie and people will like
Yeah.
it because they like the songs.
So what are the most? He Googled popular rock songs and then Billboard Top 40,
Yeah.
and it's like
Seven Nation Army.
sick. This is a
Immigrant song.
dope soundtrack.
Sir, yes, you typing your angry comment about how we hate on DC. I'd like to just point out that I'm a very big DC fan, more so than Marvel Comics. I want these movies to be good. They just aren't.
Everyone wants them to be good.
I don't think
anybody
that's-
wants to watch a bad movie.
That's true. No one like. Well, there are some people that are just fanboys and will root against everything, and they delight in the fact that these movies are bad. I'm not one of those people. I want these movies to go good, and I always hold out hope. Like when I went to go see Justice League, I was like, oh, this could
Yeah.
be good. This good, and it wasn't. But then they announced stuff like this, where I'm like, Jared Leto was probably my least favorite part of Suicide Squad in a lot of ways. Every time he showed up, it was just cringy.
yeah, it's so
It was
bad.
a glorified cameo, basically. I mean,
First
He
of
was
all, the
used so
tattoos.
little.
Could you imagine Heath Ledger's Joker sitting down for 4 hours to get a tattoo?
Yeah.
That guy couldn't sit. Like the whole concept of the Joker, he's like a chaotic guy. He's like
Yeah.
one step ahead of people. He's gonna sit down with a tattoo artist. So how long have you been tattooing? Wow, that's
Yeah.
so interesting. Yeah, I saw this online. I thought it would look really cool, like damage, because like I'm damaged.
get
I
it.
will say I
little
did
Hot
like
Topic-y,
that
eh?
tattoo. I thought it was like exactly hot topic-y, a little self-aware,
You
kind
love
of
that
lame,
stuff.
I don't think
cheesy.
it was
I was just like,
self-aware.
it's pretty emo and scene. I was like, that's pretty. I like that. But
was very
I
emo.
agree. And that's why Heath Ledger's Joker literally just had terrible white face makeup, like not even applied properly.
Yeah, it was
Just
war
like,
paint. It was awesome.
And then that's
Looked
it. You
cool.
know? Yeah. Yes,
like,
Phoebe, I really wanna
because
hear
we're
what you say.
talking about Heath Ledger. I feel like that Joker sort
Mm-hmm.
of like reinvigorated that character so much, and it's such an iconic performance. It's like one of the best performances of the 21st century.
Yes,
and
I agree.
I think that Warner Bros. And DC are really like, let's keep banking on that Joker, performance. And it's not going to work because Jared Leto did a really, really bad job. And also I feel like people forgot that he was like really abusive to his co-stars. And like, we were just
Yeah.
talking about this, how like Heath Ledger also did like a lot of, like crazy things to get into character. And like, it ultimately like destroyed him, but he didn't hurt anybody while he was doing that.
Yeah.
He sort of just
I think
like,
he probably hurt himself.
yeah,
more
he
than
hurt
other
himself
people.
more than he hurt anybody else. And like, I respect the tactic of, like doing things to get into character and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But like mailing used condoms to your co-stars is like
Yeah.
really not cool. It's really
No,
psychotic, and
it's
it's
messed
not,
up.
it's like not funny. It's not like a
Yeah.
cool thing to do. And like we were talking about like Viola Davis, how
Yeah.
Maddie was telling us the story about how her husband straight up told him like, do not do that to her or I
Yeah.
will like break you in half.
Yeah.
Because it's abusive, it's not appropriate, it's unprofessional. And why would I want to see this guy in this solo movie when he did a terrible job in an ensemble
Yeah.
cast? Like,
Yeah.
what do I care? Like,
Yeah.
Like that's such a weird takeaway. If you sit down, if you're a Warner Brothers executive and you sit down to watch Suicide Squad, and you're like, man, I'd love more of that, please.
Let's get more of that guy.
But it's interesting because they're also doing a Harley Quinn standalone movie too with Margot Robbie.
But I almost think Margot Robbie, like her performance is pretty decent.
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense.
She was good.
You know, she won that movie an Academy Award. Okay, with her hair and makeup, and she was clearly like the. I mean, I did not like her character, but she did a good job, you know. And
in a movie of annoying characters, I think she was like
stand
for sure.
out,
Yeah.
I think not Heath Ledger. I think Jared Leto thinks he's doing something with the character. I think he's like, oh, I'm doing these like new fresh ideas, but it's like it just comes off as like so tacky.
It's
Fake.
on the
It's
nose.
fake.
Yeah.
It's like if the Joker is like this psychotic guy. He's like, well, I'm sure he has like a smile tattoo on his hand. Then that's like pretty crazy, right? That'd be pretty nuts.
And then drives a pink Lamborghini around.
That's like what like a 15-year-old would think is crazy, you know? Like it's not like actually deranged, and like I feel like Heath Ledger like just captured that craziness so well and that like instability of the character, and Jared Leto is just like, I'm gonna do some random shit and be like, I'm crazy, you know? Like it's so childish.
Do you feel though? I mean, it's a very over-the-top performance. But the Joker is a very over-the-top personality.
Yep.
Let's say if David Ayer wasn't at the helm of Suicide Squad and it was a different director and the tone of the movie wasn't all over the place like it was, would it have been received a little differently or maybe even better perhaps? Because I kind of feel the movie itself was just all over the place. So it's hard to take any performance kind of seriously when a movie is that bad.
I don't know what the problem was. I don't know, like, was it the writing? Was it like, I know editing was like a big thing for me.
Yeah, the
editing was garbage.
Yeah, the
too.
editing was really, and just structurally, like the actual from a moment to moment basis, the editing was bad. But just the way that the film was put together was incoherent at times. And that could be the writing, that could be the reshoots that supposedly they went back in to make it funnier. Don't know where those scenes were because I didn't laugh very much in that movie. Yeah,
I think it was a mix of just like really bad concepts and then like studio meddling where they had to like just like kind of puzzle pieces together, you know?
And what people often leave out of the story is that this movie had a lot of hype. This was supposed to be
the trailer. I thought the first trailer was like excellent.
Yeah, it was cool.
Like there was that
was
shot of like them dressed up as like pandas and like they're shooting up like
it looked like a
like
weird heist kind of movie, and then
the trailers totally lied to us because the tones in those new trailers were
wild.
super different.
Like I think the big mistake of that movie, not to get too far off of this Jared Leto news, but that big problem of that movie is that they were like, let's have this Suicide Squad of like bad guys. That's a cool concept, but then they're like, let's have the Enchantress as the bad guy. Supernatural elements, like the city is like destroyed. Where's like Batman? Where are
What's
all the
happening?
heroes? This terrible thing is happening on this huge scale. They should have told a smaller story with lower stakes so that they could actually like have character interactions that we could care about instead of like, hey, the end of the world is happening. Who's gonna save us? Oh, I know, Harley Quinn and her giant mallet. Like, what's gonna happen? Like, anyways.
Silly.
So just to tie it back to the Jared Leto news, we know that Todd Phillips is already doing a Joker movie with Joaquin. I think it's safe to assume that's going to come out.
Cool.
So that's going to come out before this one. Okay. We can assume that the Harley Quinn movie is going to come out before too. We don't know if it's going to be bad, but we know DC's movie track record is not good. So hypothetically, let's assume these two movies flop. Is a decision to do this Jared Leto Joker movie is it at all a good one, especially when we know that the two movies coming out before it have a very good chance at failing? It's like, shouldn't they have waited for these two to come out and then see?
We've talked about this a few times. Like, isn't the Flashpoint movie supposed to basically reset everything? No,
you'd hope.
But then wait, like, where's that coming into this? It just seems like they don't know what they're doing.
Great question.
It's just a mess.
I don't know.
It just seems like a whole mess of.
I think they're gonna try and save face by doing the Flashpoint thing, and it's like it's a reboot, but it's not like we're just giving up. Like,
but then make Flashpoint the next movie, and then just like reset everything. Like it's an interesting way to like have it tie into the story of the movies, but also like from a production standpoint, just like kind of do like a reset.
Yes, and like that's what I think they're aiming for like a Days of Future Past X-Men kind of thing, where they can rebooted, but also not be like, hey, we're starting from scratch completely.
Yeah,
They can kind
a
of have
soft
their cake,
reboot style.
have their cake and eat it
But
too.
then why are these in the works now? Like,
That's the
just
thing.
Rush the
It
Flashpoint
doesn't make
out,
sense.
Question.
Make it a good movie,
Yeah.
and then you're good.
Yeah.
So I think the gist is we're all very confused
Yeah.
at this news.
Confused is a good way of
And,
putting it.
We're not going to solve that, so let's just go to the next one.
I don't think anybody is.
It's a little bit lighter, or dark, actually. It's pretty dark because it's an animated movie on the Addams Family, everyone's favorite goth, macabre family. So it's an animated movie, and it has a huge A-list voice cast. So we have Oscar Isaac and Charlize Theron as Gomez and Morticia Addams, which is pretty cool. Chloe Grace Moretz, I'm actually a very big fan. She's a very talented young actress. She's going to be playing Wednesday, and Mr. Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, is going to be playing Pugsley, the brother. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Nick Kroll, Liam's a huge, well, we're all huge fans of Nick Kroll. He's going to be playing Uncle Fester. Bette Midler is going to be playing Grandmama, and Allison Janney is going to be playing Margot Needler, who is like the family arch nemesis. So that's a lot of names.
This is all great casting.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd switch is Wednesday. I think Aubrey Plaza is like the perfect. The monotone.
Interesting.
But maybe they're just like, maybe she's a little old to play.
No,
Well, it's a
I think,
voice performance.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
true. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
That would have been great. You're
Yeah.
so right. That's
Yeah.
like,
monotone.
yeah. Maybe she's tired of doing that. Maybe that's why.
Well,
She's
Legion.
like,
she's the opposite, right?
oh man, I could talk
Let's-
all day
yeah.
about how great.
Check out Justin's reviews
Yeah, I
of
was
Legion
gonna-
every week.
Yeah.
If
Every
you
week.
do want to hear about that, then
Watch Club,
MojoTalks,
every Wednesday.
Watch Club.
Sorry.
But-
While we're on
It's
it,
off
Phoebe
topic.
and I do Westworld too, so
Yeah.
check that one out.
I have nothing
Okay.
to
But
plug.
Addams Family, yeah. I mean, I never really, I didn't know that I wanted an Addams Family reboot, especially animated variety. But upon hearing this news, I'm pretty stoked.
This movie has everything that I want. It has Finn Wolfhard, who is so sick. This is the kind of movie that, like, when I first heard the news, I was like, oh my God, Charlize Theron in an animated movie again. You know, like, come on, get somebody who does
like
actual
Scarlett
voice
Johansson,
acting.
right?
No. No. But no, I still maintain that I think that, like, there are certain people in this movie that are doing the voices that make sense for it. Like, I'm excited to see it. I don't really have any huge gripes with that.
Yeah.
What I'm more excited about is that when I saw, like, a concept art for this movie, it's really, really similar to the original comics, which were drawn for The New Yorker by Charles Addams between 1938 and 1988.
Whoa,
right in our
Wikipedia
childhood. there.
So, like, they're really, really similar styles. It's kind of giving me, like, you know, like Coraline, Nightmare Before Christmas vibes.
I was
for
gonna say,
sure.
imagine if this was
Yeah.
made by Leica. That would
It's
be
not.
insane.
But
I'd be in.
it's similar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, it's like MGM, like, you know, like, it's gonna be like freaking huge eyes, like Frozen and all this weird shit.
Yeah.
Hotel
It's not. It
Transylvania.
looks really, like, cool. It looks very,
Yeah.
very
I'm into it.
stylish animation. And I'm not super mad at the voice cast. Like, it sounds cool. I'm really excited for it.
There's
I'm
I
gonna
think
see it.
like there are some interesting picks in there, but like it is pretty safe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, we've talked about this before. Charlize Theron did voice acting in Kubo and the Two Strings a few years ago, and it was just like, it's just her talking, you know. And like, I don't think that she's a bad. I think she's an amazing actress, but voice acting and like live action films are completely different things.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's like such a huge opportunity to have, like, especially for characters that are like, you know, like weird and wacky and like dark, there's such an opportunity to have like the personality of the voice come through the character. And
Yeah.
I feel like while Charlize Theron is an amazing actress, she doesn't necessarily have that, you know, animated character voice. She just has the voice of a woman.
That's a fair argument. It's the same argument can also be kind of made for, you know, Hollywood stars who do Broadway or theater productions, because it's like, yeah, they're great actors and actresses, but they don't necessarily have that kind of theater training, which
Sure.
is a bit more, you know, like grandiose and kind of not necessarily over the top, but just like a lot of a
Bigger
kind of
performance, yeah.
Exactly.
While they're in
Yeah.
the same, you know, like sphere, I don't think that like one can translate well to another, you know?
Well, we talked about this before, where like there's so many great voice actors out there that like are probably cheaper to get,
Yeah.
and like will do the job so much better than like I don't know, than these Charlize Therons or Oscar Isaacs.
And it's
or,
also like the Addams Family is like a franchise that's been around for so long. And
Yep.
I think like that brand recognition is enough to draw in huge audiences.
Okay.
And I don't think that we need like, I think it's really cool that Finn Wolfhard is in that cast because he's sort of part of that like goth like alternative conversation in pop culture right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's done Stranger Things, he was in It.
Yeah.
Like he's sort of part of the genre, but like Charlize Theron doesn't really make sense to me.
I think Nick Kroll's like the perfect casting.
Nick
He's
Kroll's
like
great.
his voice
funny,
acting
yeah.
is amazing.
He does
Yeah.
voice acting, which
The
I
one
think
that
is
stands
cool.
out to me is Oscar Isaacs. For
That's what I was just about to say
I
that.
think that's a super interesting call. I think
He kind of looks like he could be.
he does. Yeah, in a live,
what's
I
his
would
name?
see him
Yeah.
in the live action version of this too. It's like a really like perfect casting in a lot of ways. I'm curious to see how that vocal performance translates.
Hopefully well.
And like you said, like the animation style in the style of those old New Yorker cartoons, that's really cool to see them pay homage to like the legacy of these characters. Because like I don't know about you guys, but I'm most familiar with the Addams Family from the TV show that was in the early 2000s.
The 90s movies too.
And I didn't really ever see those 90s movies, but for me, there was that long-running TV show. It felt like it was long-running. It may have been on for once. You're a kid, and who knows?
Syndication. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Plays all the time.
But yeah, Nick Kroll, always great in vocal performances. If you haven't seen, Big Mouth.
Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out.
It's also great in Sausage Party.
True.
Oh,
yeah, it's such a good point.
yes. Yeah.
As the douche in Sausage Party.
Yeah. No, he's going to be great for sure.
It sounds like they're trying to replicate Hotel Transylvania a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I hope
You know
not.
what? It actually does looks like visually from that promo picture we got. It kind of looks similar.
No, I
don't
think this
think?
animation looks.
Well,
I mean, from
yeah.
what I've seen, it looks a lot more like a Leica type animation, and I think like Hotel Transylvania. I don't know if we have like big Hotel Transylvania fans around here. I don't think so. But Manny was gesturing
Manny
to
is
himself.
big.
Forget you.
He's a huge fan.
Huge
But
fan.
yeah, no, this seems like a little bit more stylized.
Yeah.
Kind of
You know what I
hoping
mean?
we're like we're kind of coming out of the era of like the CG animated, like the Despicable Me.
Coming out of?
Yeah. You don't think so?
Interesting.
Oh, Liam.
I
Bad
would
news
say-
for you, buddy.
With this Spider-Man movie.
Oh.
This
But
new
that's
Spider-Verse.
Oh my god, yeah.
But it's
but it's in the
stylized,
style
right?
of.
It's like you
almost
look at
looks
movies
like
you look at all the
rotoscoped or
DreamWorks movies,
something.
and they all look exactly the same.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say you're hard pressed to find a movie that's done with pen and pencil.
I think
now,
there's
Yeah. Pen and pencil is
There's
like
been
pretty much
some-
gone
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
It's
stop
more
motion,
expensive.
Well,
Yeah.
stop motion making a big impact with the Leica stuff is really cool to see. And you're right. Like once we hit a certain threshold with those Pixar style animation movies, everything started to blend together. Like you have something like the Emoji Movie, which is like an example of that style, but just like no personality whatsoever, just bland for the sake of bland.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it will be interesting to see people test that style and go somewhere new with it.
I'm also anxious because like I feel like so many times when you're animating like actual human subjects, it's like such a hit or miss. Like we were just talking about like Frozen. I found like, I don't really like that Disney animation style with like the big eyes and the little mouth and like the disproportionate features. And like this one seems like really cool because it's like they have the opportunity to make it more stylized. So that way like they don't try too hard to look like human subjects.
Oh,
so
for
you know what
sure.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like
the Peanuts movie from a few years ago. That was like crazy. Like that animation is like amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool to see them
super
kind of.
yeah.
It was like pulling the original comics into 3D. It
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
like a real translation of that vision. And like what's cool about those old New Yorker cartoons is like they were in black and white. Like they're very understated.
Yeah.
Single panel cartoons. I highly recommend if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're pretty funny. But like that's a cool way of approaching adapting something is to just be like, well, what did it look like when it started? And
Yeah.
And then just update it.
Yeah, work from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see if they're gonna stick with the iconic theme song.
Oh, I love that
Or
song.
if they're gonna come up with something different.
probably stick with the original.
Just stick with the original, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah.
Like at this rate, they're probably just gonna get like Sia to do like the friggin'
Sing. Yeah, that's really funny.
An over the
gonna be
top
like,
like
yeah.
pop version
Welcome
of
to the house.
Okay. So we go from one franchise to another for this number one entry that we had on the original CineFiles. And it's the Bumblebee trailer.
a movie with bumblebees.
Yeah, exactly. They're endangered
movie?
now, We got to protect
You
them.
like jazz?
But it's Bumblebee from the Transformers. And when I first heard this movie was coming out, I was like, oh, it's just going to be another Michael Bay explosions, no story, just all action. But this trailer, you don't get that. It's a lot different. And this is what we did our What You Watch, and you saw E.T., I saw Super 8.
Different ways with it.
Yeah. But I got a lot of those vibes in this trailer. It's very nostalgic. It's very sentimental. And almost like dramatic a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not a Michael Bay. Well, I mean, it's literally not a Michael Bay movie.
He's not directing it.
But it's like it doesn't seem like your typical Transformers movie, which I am very, very
It still does
excited about.
Look like, I think like the robot.
They changed
design.
the aesthetic enough where it's like it looks more like, because he's a
Volkswagen.
Beetle. He's a Volkswagen Beetle instead of like what is he? He's a
Camaro.
Dodge. Yeah, he's a Camaro.
Yeah.
Like it's just less details, and like that was the big thing that like classic fans of the Transformers series had with those movies is like you look at the old Transformers and it's like very blocky, very, because like the toy had to transform from a robot to a car, like it had to be very simple. And then in these ones it's like the piston becomes like the finger, and it's like crazy, super detailed. But this was just very clean. The chest plate is like very clear. I don't know. It just reminded me a lot more of the classic Transformers stuff than the other movies.
This is bizarre, man. Like the fact that this movie exists is like very interesting to me. I think like for them to go take a complete 180 and do like almost like it seems like a love story coming of age.
I was gonna say it seems coming of age, man. Yeah.
It's like the trailer made me emotional.
Yeah.
Like
Me
I was
too.
watching like Haley Steinfeld, who's
Yeah.
like a huge up and comer. I know you love her.
She's
And
super
Also
Edge of
talented.
gonna be
17,
in the-
her and Edge of 17 is like one of the top 10 best performances of the 2010s. I
Hot
think
take:
So.
Haley, stop singing. Just focus on acting.
yeah,
please.
true.
I'll agree with
Very
that.
good.
also going to be in that Spider-Man movie. She plays the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry,
So
Phoebe,
big
what were you,
year.
yeah, big year.
I was just gonna say that it seems like more emotional. Like these are the kind of movies that I just like completely tune out because I don't care. Like I saw
You mean
them,
the old Transformer movies, or
the Michael Bay Transformer movies. Like
Yeah.
I saw the one with Mark Wahlberg because I had like a crush on him when I was like, and I was
who
like,
didn't have a crush on Marky Mark? And
it's
like,
his
"Ah."
nostrils
funky
now
bunch.
are too big. But
That's a very specific critique.
anyway,
Mark, if you're watching,
I saw it
listening,
and
Gotta work on
it's
those.
just like it's just so like noise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course,
This
yeah.
one it felt like it felt emotional. I don't know. I was like, I would see this. Like
I
it's
didn't.
cute.
I didn't feel like throwing up after it because there's
Yeah.
no shaky. You literally put a camera on a car and drive and bounce.
And the
all over
biggest
place.
thing was I could tell who the bad guy was. Oh my goodness. When they showed the other Transformer, I was like, very clearly not Bumblebee. Bumblebee's big and yellow.
Yeah, there
Whenever
was
you
this-
watch those movies, it's just like, oh
It's a
my
bunch
god,
of
it's
metal.
true,
It's
eh?
just metal hitting each other.
Yeah.
I have no idea who's who.
The first movie, I was in theaters and I watched it, and there's like robots fighting, and I'm like, oh my god, Optimus, no! Oh, dude, that wasn't Optimus. Okay, good.
I remember though
It's just-
that like the first movie came out and like I had never seen anything like it because it was just like such like high stakes and
Yeah.
like the special effects were just like so like in your face that I was like, oh my god, I've never seen
Yeah.
anything like this. But then like it just wore off so easily that like
yeah.
I even like I follow movie news pretty heavily and like I forgot what
Well, I hope
movie they
so.
were on.
Yeah.
I 5 I guess was
Oh,
the last
so
one.
I
Yeah, I
couldn't
think
tell
so.
you. 6?
I think
maybe?
they
I think
made
it was
5.
Yeah.
This would be the 6th Transformers movie, but not Transformers
Yeah.
6.
It's pretty bold that they're just calling it Bumblebee though.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's
Yeah.
like it's pretty out there.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys.
Please.
We're all talking about how much we love this huge, drastic change the franchise seems to be taking. But for all of those who love the 5, 6, or 7, however many movies there are, the people who love the high octane action, shaky camera, this and this, are they going to be pleased after seeing this trailer, or do you think they're like, "Whoa, what is this?
I think there's-
It's Haley Steinfeld and it's a coming of age story." What do you think? People are freaking out? Do you think they're stoked? What are our thoughts?
I think there's more than enough Transformers movies that they could just watch.
You can't
but not a
please
new
everyone.
Transformer.
I don't
yeah,
know, but it's like this. It's gonna be this, if they made a Transformers 6, it would be the same thing as Transformers 5.
yeah, of course. Yeah. No,
Hot take. I think people are pretty accepting of this movie from what
Yeah.
I can tell. Fans and detractors alike. Like I've been pretty harsh on the Transformers series since the second one. Like that second movie is just bad. Just terrible. But yeah, this looks. I'm genuinely excited. Like you got ET vibes. You got
Super 8,
vibes. I got Iron Giant vibes.
that's a big one.
for
It
sure.
reminded me a lot of that, and that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies. So I'm really excited for this.
The
Genuinely
trailer was really
excited.
good too. It's like when Bumblebee transforms, it's kind of like this the scary moment where Haley Steinfeld's not sure if he's dangerous
she's
or
under
not.
the car. Oh,
and
that's
then
such
he
a
just
great
like
shot.
he
like
like
hides
curls
his
up and hides in the
face.
corner. I was like,
It's
oh, that's
sad.
sweet. Yeah.
And like he has
Bumblebee.
when the mask comes on, like when he like
Yeah.
just the design of Bumblebee in this movie is so much different than the Transformers stuff that we've seen in the past. And then
Yeah.
Even the other Transformers.
That's a good point.
Excuse me, I don't know who that was. I'm sure it's well documented. Starscream or something. Looks like an old Transformers villain. Like really clean design. Like that really excites me because the idea of seeing those characters as they were kind of originally perceived and created is super interesting. Like versus the generic giant robots that we've seen in these movies that like they're either a very obviously this is a car or a very obviously this is a giant robot. It doesn't feel like a Transformer other than when it's changing.
It's really odd the Transformers is going the indie movie route of just being like
indie style anyways.
Just like a coming of it. Yeah, indie style. It's so weird.
Timothy Chalamet is going to be in it.
Well, speaking of indie, there are two scenes that kind of stuck out. The first one is almost like a little related to indie, but the internet seems to be making a little connection. There's a scene in the trailer where they fall in the water and Haley grabs Bumblebee underneath the water and they're like, "Oh, it's a shape of water. It's a shape of water."
Oh God, please!
So I'll see it. I'm into it.
Yeah, don't go. That's not.
Yeah,
if there is a love thing is
okay.
what the implication is, but I don't think there is.
No, it's
Octavia
friendship.
Spencer's gonna show
It's
up
friendship.
like
Friendship. Yeah. And then also at the end of the trailer when there's the Rickroll.
yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
People talk through music. Bumblebee.
She turns it off.
Yeah.
She
I thought that
shoots
I was like pretty cheesy, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It worked well. Yeah.
a good joke.
So I think we all give a thumbs up to this one.
I give it thumbs like this way.
This way? Yeah.
Diagonal?
Like 75%.
Northeast.
It's still Transformers.
Yeah. It's Transformers in a refreshing direction for me. So I don't know if I'll see it in theaters, but I give it a thumbs up for trying something new.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So those were the three biggest stories of the week. But like I mentioned before, there are stories that don't quite make the cut, and we're going to talk about those ones next. Welcome back to the CineFiles Extended Cut, and if you want to check out our show as an audio podcast, you can definitely do that on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks for this and more. Right now it's time for the cutting room floor, and it's an interesting cutting room floor. It's a special edition, if you will, because this
a few extra
segment,
snips this week.
Yeah, we're all just going to talk about all the trailers that have come out.
There were so many.
Why was it this week that was so
Who
many?
knows, man? But there was like 2 trailers a day. It felt like.
Yeah.
More than that, I think it was like 3 or 4.
We talked about the
trailers a day.
Bumblebee trailer as the #1 entry, but that was just
The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Tip of the iceberg.
You want to know what else came out? The Girl in the Spider's Web.
Yep.
Didn't
Not
even
the
know
David
this was
Fincher.
already made. I had heard
made.
production. I heard production stuff, but I didn't know it was actually
Yeah.
filmed yet.
I thought it was really good, although the trailer was mostly like one amazing scene and then like a small trailer.
I was comparing. I said compare that to the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo trailer though, and it's like night and day.
Very different in tone.
Yep.
But I was reading the comments and a lot of people are like, "Oh, carbon copy." I was like, "No, it's not. It's clearly different." Like, what do you mean? Just because it's like dark color scheme, you think it's the same? No.
Do you know who's directing that?
I can't remember.
Fede Alvarez
Oh.
from Evil Dead and
Yes.
Oh, shit.
That's exciting.
I'm a
Breathe.
big fan of his, actually.
Yeah, he's great.
Good. That's great. So that came out. Lego Movie 2 came out. Wreck-It Ralph 2 came out. We watched this trailer just before. Bad Times at the El Royale, which
That
looks
is
Crazy.
amazing.
Looks great.
my most
Drew
anticipated.
Goddard.
Who's
His
one of my
big
favorites.
He was the showrunner at one point for the Daredevil series, which is super weird.
Oh,
He also he directed the first episode of The Good Place, I think.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's all
really?
over the place.
Oh,
He's
you guys
Cool.
can't get enough of The Good Place.
great.
big fan of The Good Place. But Drew Goddard, I mean, Cabin in the Woods, what a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And this has some vibes of that, but it's not. It's like a crime.
Yeah, it has like that
thriller.
element of voyeurism.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that really kind of stuck out for me as being similar. And also, there's a returning star, if you will, from Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mr.
Chris
Hemsworth. Yeah.
Hemsworth.
I laughed when I saw him. I was like,
He's-
oh,
yeah, he's got a great
back.
shot,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that came out as well. It hasn't come out yet. They did release a little snippet on Instagram, but the new Halloween trailer will be coming out. By the time you guys listen to this, it'll probably already be out,
Yeah.
or later this evening. But that's coming out. The
that
snippet
little
was
mini-
pretty cool.
Mini
It's really
trailer
sick.
of the headshot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
She's
Jamie Lee
badass.
Curtis, like that's a cool angle to go with. Like, oh, remember the final girl from all those movies ago? Like,
back.
well, she never got over it.
Yeah.
She's a badass now.
Yeah.
She's
The
and
final
30 years
girl
older
has
now.
Looks
transformed
incredible.
Yeah,
now.
it's a really
guys.
cool, really cool concept for a horror movie, and I'm excited to see
Yeah.
Yeah.
what that actually looks like.
And it's a small detail, but I also liked how like gross that mannequin looked. It was like beat up.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
It seems like from all the promo shots I've seen of this, it seems like they're taking like a really gritty, like dark approach. Like he's like Michael Myers has
yeah,
like, he's got like a disheveled like mask on now.
Yeah.
It's like looks a bit older.
yeah.
The mask looks a little older somehow. Like he looks like he's aged. But
His
And
mask
I
is
heard that
aged.
they had like John Carpenter had come in like to be consulting in some way
yeah,
on this
Oh.
one.
he's doing a score, I think.
That's really
Cool.
cool. That's awesome.
Nice.
Really cool to hear
Yeah.
that.
So out of all those, any of them that really
Oh,
stand out for you?
Matt, you're forgetting the best one.
Which one's that?
Legally Blonde 3.
No.
No.
No, is there a trailer? There's no trailer for that. But but Reese is in talks for that one.
Enter the Spider-Verse, guys.
I thought you were gonna say A Star Is Born.
I'm the only one that was excited about this. I
It's pretty
think.
cool. It looks pretty cool.
I'm really excited about that. It looks like a comic book come to life. The animation style. If anyone in the comments can tell me another movie that looks like that, I would very much like to see it because I'm in love with that animation style. It's so
amazing.
cool. And I'm just genuinely stoked.
It's just gonna be a bunch of Spider-Man in
Just
it, right?
so
And
many
women?
Spider-Men.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
So many Spider-Men and women.
The animation was a little
pretty good.
jarring for me at first, but then because
It's so different.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. But then as the trailer went on, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. Yeah.
I'm all in for this.
It looks like a comic book.
Yeah,
You know,
and they
like
have
there's
the
a scene, where they have like the
text boxes that
text
come
boxes,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Awesome.
Really cool.
And I love the way that the animation like changes in some scenes. Like it'll just have one frame of like very vibrant colors, and then go back to the standard way that things look. The eyes are super emotive.
Yeah.
And so it's
Jake
gonna,
Johnson is playing Spider-Man.
it's gonna be a bunch of like
else.
Spider-Man from like Spider-Man and women from a bunch of different like universes.
That's
or?
what basically the comic book that they're adapting is. That it's like this force is going throughout every universe and hunting down spider people,
That's gonna be
and so they
interesting.
all have to like band together to prevent that from happening.
That's really cool.
And they introduce like super weird characters like Peter Porker the Spider Ham.
No.
What is
No.
this Simpsons
Are you-
movie?
I wish. No, yeah, Peter
Spider
Porker.
Pig?
Peter Porker the
No.
Spider Ham.
Peter Porker?
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
really
clever, actually. It's actually pretty clever.
Wow.
Yeah, there's just so many weird Spider-Man. No one really knows which ones they're gonna bring into this movie. So far, there's
Hope
only
Peter
been
Porker.
Spider. Honestly, I really do too. That'd be amazing. We know Miles Morales is in it. We know regular 616 Spider-Man is in it. Peter Parker. And then this trailer dropped that Spider-Gwen who is gonna be in it. People love Spider-Gwen.
Voiced by Haley Steinfeld.
That's right.
Cool.
And I'm very sold.
That's
Big
awesome.
year for Haley.
Yeah.
Good for you,
Yeah.
girl. Good for you. So let's talk about some new releases really quick. This has been one that we've been waiting for for a long time, I
Yes.
should say. Hereditary is coming out.
That looks
scared.
too
I'm
scary
scared.
for me.
I'm already scared.
It looks really creepy.
I
The
can't wait.
reviews are stunning.
Overwhelmingly
It's high
positive.
90s.
Yeah.
High 90s.
Really.
So
So I'm very
to see this.
excited. Even if the rating was lower, I'd still check this out.
Yeah.
People
100%.
saying that this is like the new Exorcist movie or the Exorcist movie of our generation.
I mean, it seems
does that-
whenever a
who's to say?
horror movie
Yeah.
comes out, it seems someone is claiming that anyways.
But I've
Yeah.
never
But
seen
there's that
this one
girl,
seems that it
like,
has
yeah,
some-
the actress in the film. People are saying that she's like
Tony Collette.
incredible. No,
the little
young
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Toni Collette's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's amazing in
Definitely.
this.
And oh man, I don't know what's the actress's name, but she's the one from The Leftovers that always yells
And
Kevin.
Dowd.
And
She's in this, and
Yeah.
I'm so excited for her. She's great.
She's everywhere.
I
now.
love this
Yeah.
resurgence she's had in her
Yeah.
career because she
Kevin.
completely deserves it. It's kind of typecast. She always plays this like
Angry,
angry,
yeah.
mysterious kind of
but
powerful
she
woman. But
nails
she
it. It's
does.
like we always say,
She's very good.
the one note can be fine
Yeah.
if that note is great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
This
she's
note is
great.
great.
She'll probably do great in that. She's doing great on Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Did great on Leftovers. So Ann Dowd, keep killing it, girl. Hope you're listening. We're big
is.
fans. So that is coming out, and the one that Phoebe had seen, Ocean's 8 as well.
I'm gonna see that also.
Pretty cool
In
week.
theaters, I
Check
think.
out the
Maybe,
review later today, Friday.
Do it. Maybe a double feature this weekend, perhaps.
Get scared and then
Ooh.
and then have some laughs.
yeah.
Yeah.
The palate cleanser is.
Or do the opposite. Have some laughs and then
And
get
get
freaked
scared.
out and
Yeah.
go to sleep and have a horrible nightmare.
Yeah, we're not here to tell you what to do,
Yeah.
but those are some options for you guys. Those are some options.
I'm here to tell you what to do. Go see them in that exact order or stop listening.
There you go. So that basically wraps up the show for today, guys. So thanks so much for checking out the CineFiles Extended Cut. And as I mentioned before, be sure to subscribe to MojoTalks for this and more movie news, or movie shows, I should say. And you can find us as an audio podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. So for now, we're going to say goodbye, but we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our MojoTalks YouTube channel for the video version of the CineFiles Extended Cut.